أهلا بكم. كيف أنتم? Right now, you're watching me. Why? To learn Arabic, of course. So, welcome to Learn Arabic Online with Loubna Duymayan. Who is that? It's me, speaking. Grasping the principles of the imperfect conjugations is far away from being enough. You have to know about the different moods of this tense and the fundamentals of the conjugations with different types of verbs. So, imperfection is a form of verbs freedom in the political world of Arabic. Let's say that this tense is an original one, which is good, maybe not. We are still in the process of learning about the conjugations of defective verbs, form 1 in the imperfect, the present tense. Today, we aim attention at the jussive conjugations for these final weak verbs, marked with the ending of long vowels, which are the alif with both its forms, the extended and the shortened one, the waw or the ya. They undergo drastic transformations accordingly during the process of conjugation. The waw and ya can be parts of the roots, but not the alif that you see in the end of the verbs in their form 1. Note that the position of these long vowels determine the type of the weak verb. The defective verb al-fi'lu al-naqis is considered as the third type of weak verbs. Mostly, the final alif of a defective verb turns into a waw if the alif is extended, the one that looks like a stick, the one that starts the alphabet, alif, that looks like number 1, or a ya if the alif is shortened, the alif that looks like a ya without dots, the shortened alif, the other form of the regular alif. To recognize the origin of the alif, get the noun form of the verb. For example, da'a, to invite, to call, or to pray. Yad'u, the imperfect, so the alif turns to a waw. Da'wa, invitation, is the verbal noun of da'a. So we have the dal, ain, waw, extracted from the verbal noun, da'wa. Ghaza, yaghzu, again here, the extended alif turns to a waw during the imperfect conjugation. Ghazu is the verbal noun. So from ghazu, you may derive the 3 radicals of the root. Ghain, zay, waw. Sama, sama, to tower, to soar. Yasmu, alif, waw. Sumu, sumu, highness. From the root, sin, mim, waw. Rana, to gaze, to stare, to look at. What I'm doing just right now, at you. Rana. Yarnu. Again, the alif turns to a waw. Runu is gazing, staring. So, the root is Ra, Nun, Waw. Rama, ending with a shortened alif, the one that looks like a ya without dots. Rama is to throw or to toss. Yarmi, in the imperfects, this shortened alif turned to a ya. Rami is the verbal noun. So the root is Ra, Mim, Ya. Mesha. Again, here another example with the verb ending with a shortened alif. Mesha, to walk. Yamshi, the shortened alif, alif maqsura, turned to a ya. Meshi, walking. From the root, mim, shin, ya. Here we have an exception. Qawiya. This time, the verb ends with a ya. Qawiya, to be or become strong. The imperfect is yaqwa. So the ya turns to an alif maqsura this time in the imperfect. So in the perfect we have the ya, and the imperfect we have the shortened alif. Quwa is the verbal noun, and this one is useless for root extraction because it doesn't include the three radicals that we are looking for. Quwa means strength. So qawiya. Qawiya, this form has the three radicals of the root. Qaf, waw, ya. This is one of the exceptions. Khashya, to fear, ending with the ya. Ya and fatha. Yakhsha is the imperfect. The ya turns to an alif maqsura. Khashya, fear, is the verbal noun that you may extract the root from it. We have kha, kha. Kha comes from the back of the throat, like if you have something stuck in you, you want to get rid of it. Kha. Alright? And shin, ya. Radiya. Radiya and khashya, these belong to the third radical, to the third category. These ones can end with a waw or a ya, but the conjugation does not show the identity of that weak letter. So here, radiya is to accept. Yarda, so the ya turns to a shortened alif. Ridwan is the verbal noun. So here, even though the shortened alif turns to a ya, the third radical of the root is a waw, based on the verbal noun ridwan. Ra, dad, waw. But khashya, the root is kha, shin, ya. See? So the trickiest category is our third one. So the first one ends with a waw, second one with the ya, and third one, both. We don't know. As you are supposed to remember that the verbs in the jussive, al-mudari', al-majzoom, take no vowels. So there is no fatha or kasra or dhamma. There is a sukun, the zero sign. So meaning that their ends are marked with a sukun. Sukun means stillness. For example, let's say we have the letter ba. Ba. So if I mark it with a fatha, we would say ba. So we have the sound of the consonant ba plus a, the sound of the short vowel fatha, ba. If I mark it with a dhamma, I would say bu. So we have the ba plus the u sound, bu. And if I mark it with a kasra, I would add the sound e, so b. But if I mark it with a sukun, I would just say b. There is no sound coming after it. It's b. So we have ba, bu, bi, and b. Alright? So, and if the verb ends in one of the suffixes, in, for the second person feminine singular anti, you, or an for the dual, or un for the plural, or just the plural, masculine plural, or just the nun for the masculine feminine, the final nun is eliminated. This is what is expected with the imperfect jussive, but with defective verbs, we may lose our principles. Uh-oh. Let's find out. The jussive mood comes when the verb in the present tense is preceded by some particles, remember? Like lem, did not, used to involve a negation with the past tense meaning. So you use lem plus imperfect with past tense meaning. La, do not, expresses prohibition. La. After this brief review, you are ready to learn about today's topic. Let's say, Dear Past or Dear Loubna, thanks for all the lessons. Dear Future, I'm ready. Are you? Our first visit will be to a verb ending with an extended alif, with a waw as its last radical in its root form. Afa, to forgive, to excuse. The imperfect is yafu, imperfect indicative, the one with the good mood, the regular one. Afu is the verbal noun from the root ain, fa, waw. Easy to extract from the verbal noun. It's clear. It's implicit. Afu. We have the three radicals showing. We can evaluate the 5 conjugations for the subject pronouns ana, I, anta, you, the second person singular masculine, huwa, he, third person singular masculine, hiya, she, third person singular feminine, and nahnu, first person plural, we, at once, since their suffixes are alike. We have ana afu, ending with a waw, anta tafu, again ending with a waw, huwa yafu, hiya tafu, and nahnu nafu. These are the pronouns which give us a long vowel at the end of the imperfect indicative conjugations. For defective verbs, but in the Jussive, the last radical is missing. Here, see? أعفو. There is no wow. تعفو. يعفو. هي تعفو. نحن نعفو. And as you have learned, in the Jussive, a sukun replaces the suffix damma of the imperfect indicative when we are dealing with sound verbs. As in, أنا أكذب, I lie or I am lying. أنا لم أكذب, I didn't lie. So we have the bu, the ba with a damma, and in the Jussive, the ba with a sukun, b. But here, although there is no damma here, because the waw actually represents the damma would be just redundant on top of it. We still add a sukun, and the principle of shortening still applies. And I, the teacher, have to come up with bedtime stories based on this scenario for you to understand the blurry image of these conjugations. We use a concept for an effective grammar practice, right? The imperfect indicative of afa, to forgive, for huwa, that we use always as a model, he, huwa, ya'fu. The final waw is the end of the conjugated action word. Thus, the waw is actually followed by an invisible sukun, right? Conceptually, in the Jussive, we are adding a second sukun to the end of the word with an unvocalized alif as a support. So, here is my theory. So we have ya'fu, here we have a sukun, the invisible one, and we add another one. And let's say we have an unvocalized alif, an unpronounced one, just as a support for the second sukun. Here, the first sukun, along with its long vowel waw, are removed and replaced by a damma right after the second radical as a reminder of the vanishing waw. Alright, so we have the damma here. And since the other sukun has no concrete support and does not match the preceding damma, we just forget about it. It's good to forget about things. So we have ya'fu. And this is the story. Or, let's just say that the overwhelming stillness roaming the waw induced its end, keeping the damma on the middle radical is the indication of the released waw. This is another story. You pick the one that you like. Whichever way you look at it, the point is that these defectives for these subject pronouns, أنا أنت هو هي نحن, and in a wow, in the imperfect indicative, lose their last radical, ending with a Dhamma placed on the middle radical for the jussive. So from afu, get rid of the wow, you have just afu in the jussive. Tafu, tafu. Cut it short. You don't lengthen the sound of the fu here. Fu, fu. هو يعفو ويعفو. هي تعفو هي تعفو. And نحن نعفو نحن نعفو. Fu, fu. Cut it short. Here, the same principle applies to the other two groups of defectives. For the verb jara, jara, to run, ending with a shortened alif, jara. With the imperfect indicative, yajri, with a ya in the end. From the root jim, ra, ya. We see that the shortened alif turned to, that the ya shortened to a kasra, with just as the waw shortened to a dhamma for afa, ya'fu. Alright? Jara, yajri, yajri. So here we get rid of the ya and we keep just the ri, the kasra. Here the kasra does the job of the ya. تجري هو يجري هي تجري and نحن نجري. So here this category represents the verbs ending with a ya, and this one with the waw. Likewise, the shortened alif for the defective verb radiya, to accept, yarda, the imperfect, is shortened to its counterpart, the fatha, for the same conjugations that require shortening with the other two verbs. So here we have arda, we get rid of the shortened alif and we have just arda. And here the fatha matches the following shortened alif. Here the kasra matches the following ya, and here the dhamma matches the following waw. It's all in harmony. So here we have from tarda and tatarda, you accept huwa yarda, yarda. So we just get rid of the weak letter. That's all what you have to do in the jussive with these 5 pronoun subjects. Very easy. Now, look at the conjugation for the pronoun anti, second person, feminine, singular, you. The final noon and the fatha are cut off, just as they are for sound verbs. What remains after the cutting off is the conjugation for the second person, feminine, singular. Anti ta'fina, so you are forgiving. Ta'fi, just the noon and the fatha are dropped. Tajri, tarday, tarday. Here we have something going on. Here we have marked the ya with a sukun, and it is here preceded by a fatha. So note the diphthong for the third group of verbs. We have a combination of tar, da plus ain. So the broken alif is dropped, but the fatha remains and moves toward the position of the expelled alif. So you get tardayna, and in the jussive tarday, which gives you a diphthong, union of two vowel sounds pronounced as one syllable. Nothing fancy about the dual conjugations, which are derived in a regular fashion. Boring one. Merely drop the final noon and its kasra as you would do with any verb. So we have antuma, second person, dual masculine and feminine. Ta'fuwani, ta'fuwa. Just we have a missing noon with its kasra. Huma, third person, dual masculine, ya'fuwani, ya'fuwa. Feminine, dual, third person, ta'fuwani, ta'fuwa. Here same thing, tajriyani, tajriya. Yajriya, tajriya. Tardaya, yardaya, tardaya. You just delete the noon with its kasra. That's all what you have to do. So it's so helpful to know the imperfect indicative for you to work with the jussive. The jussive is a big loser. Just keeps getting rid of stuff. For the conjugations of the masculine plural, pronouns antum, second person plural masculine, and hum, third person plural masculine, the jussive is derived on a regular basis as well. The final noon and fatha are dropped, then replaced by an unpronounced alif, unvocalized. Thus, we now have the ending of waw and alif that we are accustomed to seeing with sound and hollow verbs. So we have antum ta'funa, you drop the noon and replace it with alif. Say ta'fu, you would pronounce it as we had just this. Ta'fu, just fa, dhamma and waw. This one is just extra, marking the second person plural masculine. This is just a suffix marking that pronoun. Ohum, ya'funa, ya'fu. We have a waw and alif as its suffix. Here, tajruna, tajru. We have waw, alif. Yajruna, yajru. They are running, they didn't run. Yardawna, again here we are pronouncing the suffix differently, diphthong. Yardawna, yardaw. Here, hum, antum, tardawna, tardaw. So, observe the diphthong of the masculine plural conjugations of the third class of verbs. The diphthong should be pronounced. Tardaw, yardaw. The plural feminine conjugations are the same for the jussive as they are for the imperfect indicative, just like sound verbs. They are good girls. They behave well. So أنتن, second person, plural feminine. تعفون, تعفون. No change. هن, third person, plural feminine. They. يعفون, يعفون. تجرين, تجرين. يجرين, يجرين. ترضين, ترضين. Diphthong. يرضين, يرضين. No change at all. One efficient method to help get these conjugations down is to grab a pen and a paper from time to time, or maybe every day, for a while, and write down the conjugations for these defectives from memory. It's like having a self-quiz. If you get stuck, refer to this website for Arabic verb conjugator. لم تجري الأمور على ما يرام. لم تجري, from the verb جرى. تجري. لم تجري. الأمور. الأمور, things, is a non-human plural. So that's why we have conjugated the verb in the third person singular, because we singular feminine, because we treat the non-human plural as a singular feminine. And we have used lam. That's why we need to use the jussive mood. لم تجري الأمور. جرى means to run, but here in this context, لم تجري الأمور, things didn't work out. Work out is kind of a sport, so it's kind of, running. I don't know. So لم تجري الأمور, things didn't work out. على ما يرام. This expression means fine. So things didn't work fine. لم تجري الأمور على ما يرام. لا تنسى واجبك المنزلي. تنسى, from the verb نسي, third category. نسيان. So نسي ينسى. Alright? So don't forget your homework. لا تنسى. So after لا, we use the jussive. Alright? I prohibit you. لا تنسى واجبك المنزلي. Your, ka, referring to your homework. واجبك المنزلي. لم أعفو عنك. لم أعفو. أعفو, أنا أعفو. Here, the jussive. لم أعفو. I didn't forgive you. عفا عن. عفا has to be followed by the preposition عن for a complete meaning. لم أعفو عنك. I didn't forgive you. Time to preach. I have to say that you must get used to deal with these verbs because they are very common. They're everywhere. If you are looking for reading an Arabic text with any degree of fluency, you must learn these action words. You don't have the luxury of ignoring them and hoping that you will not see them very often. You're wrong. This will happen frequently regardless of the kind of text you wish to read. What did we learn today? we can't trust vowels when it comes to conjugations. Be aware of them. They may play tricks on your eyes, your brain, which is dangerous. So stay alert when you learn Arabic. So time to say goodbye. مع السلامة.